I bet you notice my Royals things in the background. Well, a lot of people are missing sports right now, and I miss sports too, especially my Kansas City Royals. Well, here's a quick story. When my children were young, I used to write them poems about how our family year went. And they were just funny little poems because I'm not a great author. Well, in 2015, when the Royals won the World Series, I had a very young grandson, Braden. And my children, Emily and Eric and Aaron, said, Mom, you should write one of those poems so Braden will know what the World Series was like. So I did. And I found a friend, Reagan Krebs, and she illustrated it, and I put it in a book called Celebrate Kansas City. We won the World Series. And I'm going to read it to you today. Was the start of the World Series 2015, 30 years since the last championship, or was that a dream? The Royals won Game 1 after a Google Fiber fix, and they won Game 2 quite handily by 6. They lost in New York, and boy, that loss stung. But they came back in Game 4 thanks to Chris Young. Now it's Game 5 of the World Series, and throughout Citi Field, the Mets fans were cheering, but the Royals would not yield. I, in my sweatshirt, and Grandpa in his cap, tried to settle down, wringing our hands in our lap. In the dugout, the starters and the reserves all sat, just hoping they'd get one more good at bat. With Ned Yost strategizing, Hosmer wound up on third. Perez approached the plate. The hope of thousands was heard. Salvi hit a blooper fielded easily by Wright, who miscalculated the Royals, giving up the fight. Hosmer took off, headed straight for the tie. Duda's throw was off. It was wild. It was high. The Royals bench went crazy. The fans shouted with glee. If we go into extra innings, we'll have a chance. You'll see. Volquez came out to make room for Kelvin. Zobrist and Moose still anchored the team. Rios remained our fielder in right. The stars were aligning for winning this night. To the top of the 10th, the 11th, and 12th, Herrera held firm, but we needed something else. Dyson pinch ran for Salvi and streaked a base too. The dugout was heard shouting, "That's what speed do." The stage was all set. The fans started to cheer. They could all feel the tension. Victory was near. On Dyson, go Gordon, run Christian Cologne. On Esky and Kane, let's all scamper home. In the blink of the eye, it had happened once more. The Royals had gone ahead with their late inning scores. The Mets fans all shouted, "Let's turn this around." But from the bullpen, Wade Davis came with a bound. He was ready for action from his feet to his head, and the Mets lineup all shivered with dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his heater. The fans all breathed deeply. They believed in their reliever. He put out the first two, then a single by Mike. But Flores came up and was called out on a strike. The bench went wild. They hugged and they jumped. And in thousands of households fists were pumped. In power and light, the crowd roared with joy. Every grown man relived '85 as a boy. No one wanted to stop the team celebration, yet interviews were needed to feed the sports nation. But I heard Yost exclaim before the media queries, "Celebrate Kansas City, we won the World Series." And several days later, lots and lots of people went to Kansas City and they had a big parade to remember the championship World Series 2015 Royals. Thank you for listening to my story. Goodbye, friends. I'll see you another day.